Hey everyone, welcome back to another Persona 5 Onyx video. In today's video, as we can see here, with this little notification we got right there, as we saw right there, we are getting Futaba next. So why is Futaba such a hot commodity pickup for everybody? A lot of people say she's a must pull, she's the best blah blah, meta defining, everything with this. Well, I'm going to be talking about that quite recently here. So Futaba, or Oracle as she's called in game, is going to be our first limited 5-star navigator. And that right there with the term navigator is why she is such a huge commodity and will be a huge pickup for anybody's account. Because our most recent 5-star navigator, of course, was Phoebe. Phoebe was a good pickup at the time, but everyone kind of said, skip Phoebe, go for Futaba instead, because Futaba is just better overall. And I'm going to be honest, a maxed out 6-copy Rico or Wind will be about as good as like A0, R0, or A0 Phoebe, especially if you don't have Phoebe's weapon. But just like how Rico, if you look at her skill 1 or skill 2, where it says here you can see debuffs, well, skill 3 is actually a buff. Futaba is based around strictly debuffing. Every one of her abilities, as we see here, debuff, and well, debuff in game. Honestly, this is a 2-in-1. But silent hacking decreases all foes' defense, while data crack increases the foe's damage taken, and then end name of Feather Man or skill 3 is what we really like about her. Because for 1, it gives your 1 ally a bunch of attack, and then 2 inflicts what's called disruption virus. And based upon what your target's element is, it will then increases that foe's weakness to that. So if you ever played Honkai Star Rail, you would probably know the character Silverwolf. Silverwolf was a really massive character in that game due to the fact that she can inflict weakness onto the foe. So let's take, for example, if I want to use Makoto Yuki with Futaba. So if I want to use Makoto Yuki, I use Futaba skill 3 and I point it onto Makoto Yuki. I will then increase all the foes' fire damage taken, or shift it 1 up. So if I go and look at current SOS, because current guild bosses have no weakness, resistance. So let's look at this boss right here. So we can see that the electric, the nuke, the bless, and the curse are all resistance to null or whatever. So it will then shift it 1 up. If they are null to it, it will become resist to it. If it is resist to it, it will become normal to it. And if it's normal to it, it'll become weak to it. And if it's already weak, it'll just increase the damage taken by the enemy to that element by 25%. So if we're looking at something like this, so if I'm pointing at if I have Makoto Nijima, and instead of it being now resistance, it will now become normal. If I'm using in the future or using right now Yusuke, instead of it being normal to ice, it'll become weak to ice. And as I already said, if I'm using fire, instead of it being weak to fire, it will still be weak, but it'll take an additional 25% damage increase from it. And that's kind of why she is so good, and she's one of the best characters in the game. And as always, if you guys do me a huge favor and hit that like button and subscribe down below, every little bit does help. But with that, let's get into the actual video. She will help you score better in SOS. She'll help you score better in Guild Boss. And she'll also help you get through Astrolabs. Astrolabs not that big of a deal because you can use a bunch of characters for that. And a lot of people are asking about Velvet Trials. Yes, she'll make your Velvet Trials easier. But realistically, as we've seen on Global, as long as you have some Rico, you can honestly get through Velvet Trials, at least these bottom ones, fairly easy. This one still a little challenging because usually of all the times, as we can see here at 30, actually I haven't done 29, oh my god. But if we get 30, we can see the fact that it starts saying that I need specific damage, physical and wind. This one is all out attack and weak, actually that'll help. But we kind of start getting through this a little bit, so she'll help with that end. Of course. And then the other thing I see a lot of people saying is, oh, A1R0. I'm going A1R0 Futaba. Well, I'm going to be real with you guys. Is A1R0 Futaba really needed? I'm going to be real. No. You don't need A1 or R0. R0, of course, meaning you have your 5-star weapon. So I have A0 R0 compared to, like an A0 or technically A1 Haru. But I have A0 R0. You may be wondering, why do I have a Futaba's weapon if I'm saying it's not needed? Well, because in the future, this was during Summer Marion, which is, I believe, beginning of August. We got a Summer Marion patch where Now, instead of our lucky coins or our purple salamander coins, instead of only being for standard weapons, we can now start using them. So 10 for our standard weapons, or in the future, we'll be use 20 of them for a limited weapon. As of right now in TW, we have up to Anja's weapon. So that's why I got Futaba's weapon. If I would have saved it like an extra 2 weeks, I would have actually had Haru's weapon instead. But what her A1 does is all it is a 12% all it is a 12% crit rate increase. That's it. That's quite literally all it is. It's just like how Chords was straight up just a 15% crit rate increase right there. And of course, this gave you your co-star starting round 1. But that's the whole reason why people like it, is because it's 12%. Why is that kind of big, or can be big? Well, it's because if I look at my Makoto Yuki right now, we can look right here. I have I got 45% crit rate. So instead of me needing to run a crit rate card for right here, basically 19%, I can instead run a crit damage card and get an extra 38% crit damage. And it's mostly I'm looking at that Gil boss and, well, honestly, Gil boss and SOS, because so you can't crit on that, but it takes your crit rate and your crit damage and it combines them and increases your damage taken. That's essentially how it works with the no crit. Crit not working on those. So now, all it is just essentially just a little mid-max damage on that end of things. So that's why crit rate is also big. And also, if you look at someone like Anj has the same thing. Anj has the exact same thing. She has that, where is it? Oh, I need to look at A1. 12% right here. It also, actually, Anja's A1 is even better because at least it gives you your starting holy song. So you're able to start sooner. It's nice. It's cool. But again, it's really just that 12% crit rate we're looking at. And that's why we like it. While compared to her weapon, if we're looking at back at Futaba's weapon, well, her 5-star weapon is every time Futaba inflicts a debuff, it increases crit damage taken by 7.6%. And it stacks up to 2 times. So you inflict 2 debuffs, and you get that 15.2% crit damage taken at a base copy. Of course, if you want to be a monster, go maximize it. You actually get a 29% crit damage taken. While compared to her 4-star, maxed out, you'll get a 19% damage taken when inflicting Disruption Virus, which is your skill 3. That's all it is. The overall difference between her weapon, between her 5-star to her 4-star weapon, I would not say is as big as we think it is. I think it's perfectly fine to run Futaba at A0, and I know a lot of people point out to somebody named, well, Najox. Najox is a quite a large figure in the space, and he even says here, someone asked about her 4-star. So her 5-star weapon is better, but it's not as big of a diff as we think it is. I would say so far the biggest weapon diff in the game, besides of course Phoebe's just working the way Phoebe's does, is honestly Chords. The reason Chords weapon is nice is because of the fact that it gives you that starting highlight gauge. So it's actually a little game changing because it allows you to activate your highlight that a little bit sooner when doing Gil Boss. Just a little bit sooner, of course. It's nice. And it's not as big, when I'm looking, I already made a weapon video in the future talking about puppets. Puppets, and I think it was Akihiko, they have the best weapons in the game because the fact that it gives you crit damage, crit rate, and also damage taken increased damage done. Those are so much better overall. It will be a lot bigger of a investment, but of course, because of the fact that Futaba is a navigator, you can slap around any team, and you'll always have that 15.2% damage increase. And then he says the same thing about, someone asked about her, is her A1. No, A0 is enough. Of course, he says Futaba's must summon. In my opinion, she's no character in this game is a must summon. But, of course, if you're looking to min-max your Gil Boss and your SOS, she is going to be a must summon for you. If you don't care about Gil Boss and SOS as much, all you care about is rewards, you could comfortably skip Futaba and move on with your life and have absolutely no problem. You'll be able to do everything perfectly fine in this game. You could run through the entire game using 4 stars and you would probably be fine. I'm going to be honest. This game is really free to play friendly, and the fact that it's really easy to get every single reward. But with that, I'm going to end the video there. I hope you guys have a good day, good night, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye bye for now.